Thank you all. If you're just joining us today, I'm Kristen Daly, the Executive Director of Global Washington. Welcome to the 2023 Goalmakers Conference. During lunch, this is an annual tradition where our organization presents a Global Hero Award. This goes out to one person in our Global Washington community, and it's considered a Lifetime Achievement Award, someone who's absolutely made a difference in our community, meaning here in our community in Washington State, but obviously this community here is impacting lives in low and middle income countries. So that's really what it's about. So first, though, I would like to introduce my board member, Melissa Merritt, who's the immediate past chair and the founder of Global Citizen, and she'll tell you more about our awardee today.
Thanks, Kristen, and thanks for giving a little bit of the history of the award. Thank you, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your lunch. Good food? All right, great. Well, as Kristen said, my name is Melissa Merritt. I'm the immediate past board chair of Global Washington and have had the pleasure of being involved with the organization for, maybe 10 years now, almost the whole time it's been around. And today, it is my great pleasure to present the Global Hero Award to Pat Garcia-Gonzalez, who's going to come up in just a moment. She's the co-founder of the Max Foundation and is really an esteemed awardee going into the list of many others who've really had a considerable impact over their lifetime. And this really does recognize a lifetime of work and passion that has really been manifest in an organization called the Max Foundation, which Pat co-founded. I think Pat recognized early on that the lack of treatment available for cancer patients in the Global South was significant, and with an abiding sense of health equity, Pat founded an organization to address that issue. And so really the Max Foundation has been for 20 years providing life-extending cancer medication, treatment, and care. They've reached over 100,000 patients, I hope I have these numbers right, Pat, in 77 low and middle income countries, and through a partner network of over 500 healthcare providers. And this is really, I think, a professional and personal passion of Pat's, which she'll be able to tell you about in a moment. And it's just been exciting to kind of watch from afar the Max Foundation sort of evolve and innovate and thrive and have such a great impact. And so, Pat, I think you're a beacon of hope when it comes to fighting cancer, and looking forward to hearing you talk about, tell your story. So on behalf of the Global Washington Board of Directors, please join me for the award, which I forgot. I left at my table.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. They told me I have to put it on the table, but I don't think I want to go far from it. It's too beautiful. I'll try to put it here. Thank you so much. You know, I did not choose cancer, right? Nobody chooses cancer. It was my stepson, Max, who was diagnosed with leukemia when he was 14. And at the time, they told us if we were lucky, we would find a donor for a bone marrow transplant, and if we were luckier, he would survive the transplant. But that did not happen, and we lost Max when he was 17 on March 9th of 1991. So we started the Max Foundation just to make sense, you know, death is so final. Death is so final. 1 second. It takes 1 second. And so when you spend 3 years just single-minded focus on keeping this child alive, and they come and say, it's over. go home. It's over. And I think that people react in two different ways, what I've learned. Some people never want to hear the word cancer again and never want to walk into a hospital. And then there's those like us who honestly could not accept that that was over. There had to be more to this story, that this could not be the end. And so Max Foundation was a way to, first of all, share with others what we had learned. We had learned so much. You become such an expert caregiver. You learn about all these resources. So we thought maybe others could benefit from that. And also, just to make sure the story didn't end there. And so we established really the Max Foundation to try to help other people with what we had learned. And very early on in the process, let's see if I can pass the slide here. I'm pushing the green button. Hello? Somebody help me with the button? Not working? There. All right, thank you. Early on, we received an email on behalf of this young man, Raul, from Honduras. He was diagnosed with cancer. Their family, in fact, it was the same cancer Max had, but by then there was a drug in development, and his family had found out that there was this drug that was supposed to be very good that somebody was developing, and so they wanted to ask us if we could help them access this drug. And I learned very, very early on something that maybe others don't know, which I had no idea. When new drugs come to the market for cancer and probably for many other diseases, these drugs will never get to half the countries in the world. The global access plans don't include half the countries in the world. So even if you have money, you have to go to another country to get treatment. But so I didn't know that. But we had nothing to lose. So we started calling, and we reached out to the company that was making this drug to see if they could help Raul. And that started us in a path to 23 years, first partnering with this company to help people like Raul, and now partnering with 7 other companies to bring drugs, innovative drugs for cancer to patients in low and middle income countries. So like your colleague said, we've helped 100,000 people behind Raul to access treatment. And this is Raul today. He's still on treatment. We're still helping him. And, for all these years, he's able to get married and have a family and support his family. So that's really, really important to us. I wanted also to share the story of this young man. So I met this young man in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia in 2011. He was a medical student at the time, and he also got diagnosed with cancer, and we had been able to help him access treatment. And so he shared with me that he had decided that when he graduates from medical school, he wanted to become a hematologist. At the time, there were 2 hematologists in the whole country of Ethiopia. And so he finished medical school. They didn't have a residency program in hematology for him, but they opened one. And then I saw him again in November of 2019. Not only he is a hematologist, but he is the director of the hematology department at Black Lion Hospital in Addis Ababa. And on this day, yes. Mm-hmm. And on this day, when I was in November of 2019, I was telling him I was going to tell his story in a presentation I was preparing. So I said, hey, let me show you how I'm going to tell your story. And so I showed him, and I told him, and he said, oh my God, I need to send you a picture of my family. So he immediately WhatsApped me a picture of his family, and he wanted everybody to know it is so important not only to be able to continue to support your community, but to be able to get married and to be able to have a family. Nobody takes it for granted. And some years ago, we decided to do an art project with patients. We help patients in so many countries, so many cultures, and our motto is maximize life. You can maximize your life with cancer. So we said to patients, send us a drawing or art, whatever art with the motto, maximize life. And we received so many. And, when I look at something like this, there's the pills, the treatment, and then there are cocoons, and there's the butterfly that comes out of this cocoon. I thought to myself, I would never have thought, it would never occurred to me to draw something like this. And so I thought, what's the story? I was just so intrigued. What's the story behind this picture? So we went back and we found who had sent us this drawing. And we found out it was a lady called Maria Caridad in El Salvador. She was 36 years old. She had 4 children, and then on top of that, she had taken in a nephew that didn't have a place to be. And she was living literally in a shack made out of cardboard box. And she was making pupusas and selling pupusas in the market to support her children. And you know how the story goes. She started feeling sick. She tried to get better by herself. She ended up having to go to a hospital. And then, of course, they tell her she has cancer. Then they tell her there's a treatment. The treatment is super expensive. You'll never be able to afford it. But there are these people in the other side of the world that want to help you. And they're going to give you the medicine for you. And so what Maria Caridad said that really touched me was that she will forever be grateful for the access to treatment. But she said what was so important for her was that for the first time in her life, somebody cared about her, because no one had ever cared about her. And so, to me, that's just a little bit beyond, when we do our work, I really am reminded every day the humanity is the same. We think, and people think somebody with cancer in some place, everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to get better. Everybody suffers the same, and everybody just wants to have dignity and hope. And that gets me to Rose. Rose lives in a remote island in Papua New Guinea. And she is the mother of 6 children. And, she's a very important member of her family and her community. So I am really grateful. I'm so grateful that we see her and she is important to us. And bringing medicine for her is important. And so I think that, we have to just, I am extremely, extremely grateful for this opportunity that you're giving me to make sure that, Rose and Rose's life is seen by all of us. And of course, what we do, I don't do anything alone. I do just a little piece. There's hundreds of people around the world that step up and help. And so I would be remiss if I didn't share about, that it's not just me, that it's just a really big group of people helping people that make this possible. And these 4 women have been with me for the last 20 years, from Mumbai, from Pretoria in South Africa, Kuala Lumpur, and Buenos Aires. And we have built this thing together. So I wanted to make sure that you all see them and recognize them in this award as well. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll share my final story with you. Many years ago, we received an email. This is what happens. We receive all these emails from people from all around the world. So we received an email from a young man from Pakistan living in the US telling us his aunt in Pakistan had been diagnosed with cancer, and they were asking us for help. And we were lucky. We had some partner physicians we were working with. We were able to very quickly organize an appointment, and she went, and they saw her, and then we screened her for this program, and she was able to start treatment right away. And so he wrote back, and he said, "My aunt does not have an education and is not able to communicate with you. She does not speak English, and she doesn't know what an email is. But she wants you to know that for as long as she is alive, she will thank you with every breath she takes." And I've never forgotten this message. And so today, from Rose and Maria Caridad and this physician in Ethiopia and Raul and all these people around the world, I thank you so much for the opportunity to share their stories and for the recognition on behalf of all of them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pat, thank you so much. It's wonderful to honor you here today, but as you said, honor all the work that you've been doing. And as you can tell, Pat has this quiet way about her, but this fierce determination. So you can see that come through in your spirit and the work that you do. So thank you. Thank you.